I'll seek you out.
Hi guys, it's Jessica with Chapter Chicks, and today I'm here to talk about 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Yes guys, I did finish it, and I finally read The Grey, guys. So, I was very, what's the word I am looking for? I was very scared to read this book. There's so many stereotypes surrounding it, and I went in with an open mind, and it wasn't the best book that I've ever read, but it wasn't bad either. As a book reviewer, I really didn't enjoy it as much just because I've read so many fantastic books, and when I go in and read a book, I really try to look for a strong plot and strong character development, but there is so much tension in this book that you can't help but be drawn to it. So it's definitely something that I would recommend people at least flip through to see if it's something you can handle, just because there's so much hype about it, and I'm one of those people who I think that you should experience things that are popular in culture. And like Twilight, even if I hadn't been into it, I would have wanted to read it. It's one of the main reasons why I like classic books, because I like being able to understand all of the references that are used throughout society. And it's just a good talking piece. If you get along around somebody who's reading it, it's something that's nice to understand, or at least know something about. So I definitely recommend, if you are 18 and older, or even older than that, reading the book or checking it out and seeing if it's for you. But it is very, very racy. It is definitely not a young adult book at all. It just crazy stuff out there. Do not read it if you are not old enough or mature enough to handle the sexual stuff that goes on. So yeah, while I was reading it, I was like, I really don't want to keep reading it. But I finished it, of course, and now that I'm done, I wouldn't mind going on with the series, but it's not something that I'm going to run out and pick up today so I can devour it. It is basically about this girl named Anastasia Steele who interviews this big shot businessman named Christian Grey, and she interviews him because her friend is sick and can't make the interview, but she's worked forever to get the interview, so she goes there and she interviews him, and for some reason he's very drawn to her innocence, and obviously he's this very attractive maybe billion-dollar person, so the tension between them is high. But she finds him infuriating because he's one of those guys that he doesn't take no for an answer, and he just speaks his mind. So eventually he invites her into his seductive world where he has all this money, but it comes with a very big price because he is into some interesting things that definitely push Anna's limits, and at some points they may push her too far. Now, I know several people who have read the entire series and loved it, and they have told me that the first book is the worst book in the series and that it gets better from there. So that's why I'm still interested in maybe picking up the rest of the series later on. But I'm still a little unsure, just because I really did enjoy it at some time, but at other times it felt like the erotica that was in it happened too often. It wasn't that what was happening was too much, it's just that the frequency that it happened really overtook the story for me, and I would have loved to see more character development or plot development, because I really don't know anything that happened plot-wise besides this stuff. So there was actually a point where I was reading it and Stacey's like, read a line out loud, read a dirty line out loud, and I'm like, well, I'm not at a part where it's dirty, and I literally flipped the page and they were at it again and there was something I could read out loud. So that's how frequent they interact with each other, and I really didn't like that. If there had been less of that and the intensity was still the same, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. One thing that really, really made me dislike it, though, was that I have read that it is a fan fiction, an erotic fan fiction for Twilight, and it really kind of insulted me because Christian Grey is not even in the same book as Edward. Like, Edward is this chivalrous, romantic guy, and people are comparing him to Edward, and I found it insulting as a Twilight fan. So, sorry. I I mean, I'm sure that this review is going to make a lot of people mad, but these are my opinions, so please don't judge me too harshly for them. So now I'm going to go into a spoiler review, and also this part of the review you should not watch if you are not over 18, because the only thing that I can talk about is the erotic scenes that happen. So this is something I do not want younger children, younger viewers to watch. So please, if you're not old enough to read the book, do not continue watching. And also, if you haven't read it and don't want to be spoiled, do not continue watching, please. So one of the main things that made me really dislike this book was the whole spanking situation. I thought it was really insulting that he would want to hurt her and find pleasure in that. I thought it was disgusting, and I understand that there are some people out there who are into that. I mean, there's this whole BDSM world out there, and that is fine, but it's not something that I want to read about, especially when the person it's happening to doesn't like it. I found it insulting to read about, but I mean, you can overlook stuff like that. But it kept being brought up, and I understand that it was a big plot point later on, so I can understand where it was going, but I just really didn't like it. And there are girls whose parents don't filter what they read, so they do pick these series up. Like my mother, she didn't filter what we read because she knew that we were mature enough to be able to handle reading any of this stuff. And I don't really think that there was a lot of stuff out there like this besides adult romance. And I think that I would have been able to pick it up as a 14 or 15-year-old girl, and then I would have read that, and not that I would have, but I'm sure there are some girls out there who could look up to Anna as a role model, and until the end when she said, no, I can't do this, this is not something that's okay with me, I was a little worried because I didn't want them to let their boyfriends hurt them thinking it was something that their role model would do. So I was very glad when Anna left him at the end because the spanking was just too much. Also, with the fact that Anna left him at the end really made me want to figure out what happens and how he convinces her to get back with him, because obviously he does. It's a whole series about it. I've heard tidbits of spoilers, so I know they get back together, and I'm really interested to see how he makes that happen. So that is what is making me want to read the second one. And like I said, it wasn't the content that really made me stray away from this book. It was just the frequency. I felt like there was no plot development about it. There was no character development. It was just these two people getting it on several times in very kinky ways, and I feel like that's the whole book. And as a book reviewer, I can't really feel like that's a good book because I've read so many books that give you that same emotion where you're just drawn into the story and can't even see straight because of how drawn you are into it, but it doesn't have to use sex as a seller. It uses the tension between the two people, the mystery in the story, the love between the characters, and you still get that same emotion, but it's in a different way. And I felt like I much prefer the writing to be so beautiful that I'm drawn in rather than just be drawn in by sex, but sex sells. So, I mean, I can see where both sides come from. But, I mean, I don't know. If you guys want me to review the second one, I will do that for you guys. But I'm a little wary of it, again, just like I was with reading the first one, because I knew what I was getting myself into, obviously. And, I mean, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy reading it. It was a good book. But as a book reviewer, I look for strong plots and strong characters, and I felt like 50 Shades of Grey didn't have that as much as some of the other books that I've read. So, yeah. I am Jessica with Chapter Chicks. This is my opinions over 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please leave any sexual content out of the comments and try to put it in a polite manner, in a way that you would say it to like a person of authority or something. That way younger people reading it don't see it and be like, what the heck is that? And then Google it, and then their mind's just like blown. So please leave the sexual stuff out of the comments. And tell me what you guys thought of it. I know that this is usually very hit or miss. I put a picture on my Facebook that I was reading it, and some people were like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're gonna love it. And other people were like, please don't read this. Just please don't read this. But just let me know what you guys thought of it.
I seek you